After transmigrating into an ABO world, because I couldn't be marked or get pregnant, I ended up becoming a walking relief valve for a top-tier alpha, until I saw those 2 pink lines on the pregnancy test. Shit, why the hell didn't anyone tell me that a top-tier alpha could be so strong he could actually knock up a perfectly normal man from the real world? Looking at my slowly swelling belly, I panicked and ran for it. I didn't even last a week before he caught me stealing clothes. Caught red-handed, the alpha pinned me down and sneered, "Connor, is that all the backbone you've got, running off like that?" 1. Hunter had been away on a business trip. For as many days as he was gone, I threw up just as many. I couldn't eat properly, couldn't sleep well. I was about to call the family doctor to come check on me, but our home's AI robot, Cameron, ran a quick scan and calmly said, "Based on the data, young master, you're pregnant." I was so freaked out I jumped out of bed and nearly dismantled it on the spot. "Cameron, it's bad enough you spy on me for Hunter every day, now you're making up lies about me being pregnant." Cameron repeated the result in its robotic monotone. "Absolute nonsense. How could a man possibly get pregnant?" To prove it wrong, I immediately ordered a box of early pregnancy tests. Staring at the 2 lines on the test strip, I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. No way, I'm a perfectly normal, law-abiding 21st century man. Sure, I accidentally got pulled into this ABO world and ended up being some alpha's personal suppressant, but now you're telling me I'm actually pregnant, too. Soon enough, I came to terms with the fact that I was pregnant. After all, if I could transmigrate to another world, then pregnancy didn't seem all that impossible anymore. A deep male voice came from outside the door. "Connor, open up. Cameron says you've been in there for over 30 minutes. It was Hunter. He was back from his trip." I mumbled a vague, "almost done," in reply, frantically wrapped up the pregnancy test, and shoved it to the very bottom of the trash bin. I was sweating from head to toe in a panic. Just as I finished hiding it, Hunter pushed the door open. He eyed me suspiciously. "Why are you sweating so much?" I wiped my forehead nervously and forced a laugh. "It's not sweat, just water. I just washed my face." Hunter walked toward me slowly. "You sure you're not hiding anything from me?" I shook my head over and over, instinctively backing away. My back hit the cold tiles and I shivered. Hunter let out a soft laugh and pulled me into his arms. "What are you so nervous about? I'm not gonna eat you." Easy for him to say. The truth is, he can't keep his hands off me, ever. I have to take care of my ass every day just to keep up with him. And yet, the moment I was near him, the nausea that had been churning in my gut just vanished. Without realizing it, I leaned further into his chest and carefully tested the waters. "Honey, if someone got pregnant with your baby, what would you?" Hunter cut me off. "That's not possible. I mean if." He glanced at me and replied bluntly, "Get rid of it." What? Did he mean the baby and the person? No way. He can't find out I'm pregnant. I can't go back to my original world. This baby is the only family I've got here. There's no way I'm giving it up. Hunter carried me out of the bathroom. While I was still dazed, he leaned down and bit the side of my neck. Pheromones flooded into my skin, making it feel strangely swollen and tight. Tears welled up in my eyes from the pain. Hunter, but he didn't bite deep, and soon released me, facing the desire burning in his eyes. I swallowed hard. Normally, once he marked me, he'd flip me over and go for several rounds, but then I remembered the pregnancy test hidden in the trash. I panicked and shoved him off with everything I had. Caught off guard, Hunter fell right off the bed. He sat up, gritting his teeth. "Connor, just a few days apart and you think you've grown a spine?" I froze. I didn't mean to actually knock him off. In a rush, I wrapped myself up like a cocoon, only my head sticking out, looking pitiful. I said, "Honey, I didn't mean to. It's just, my stomach's been really uncomfortable lately." Hunter stared at me for a long while without saying a word. Then, finally, he let me off the hook. 3. I didn't dare go to the hospital for a checkup. The moment I stepped outside, Cameron would report everything to Hunter. He'd send someone to tail me. I couldn't let him find out I was pregnant. He never allowed a baby to exist. Not back then. Not now. 2 years ago, I accidentally transmigrated into this ABO world. After trying everything I could and still finding no way back, I was forced to accept reality. I didn't have an ID, so I ended up working under the table in the black market. The black market was messy and overcrowded. Some alphas mistook me for an omega and harassed me constantly. When I fought back, they tried to suppress me using pheromones. Even though pheromones didn't work on me, I couldn't beat them in a fight either. It was miserable. Eventually, Hunter stepped in and took me back to his place. He asked if I wanted to sign a contract with him. He offered me 10 million and an apartment. All I had to do was serve as his human suppressant, help him relieve his urges and stabilize his pheromones. I had no idea what being a human suppressant really meant, but hey, 10 million and a place to live, plus no more creeps bothering me. I agreed without hesitation. After reading my medical report, Hunter asked with a straight face, "You sure you can't get pregnant?" "Positive. Absolutely sure," I said, patting my chest. It'd be insane if I could get pregnant. I wasn't an omega, just a man. How could a man possibly get pregnant? Hunter didn't respond, just frowned and looked me up and down. I ignored the look, reassured him again and again, then quickly signed the agreement. I was afraid he'd change his mind. And now, I silently prayed that the result from that pregnancy test was wrong. But to my surprise, once I got through the early pregnancy symptoms, my appetite skyrocketed. The baby in my belly grew quickly thanks to the good nutrition. My stomach started to form a soft, noticeable curve. One day, Hunter gently squeezed my belly and casually asked, "Have you gained weight lately?" I froze. "No way. I've always looked like this." I slapped away the hand that was reaching into my waistband and playfully snapped, "Honey, are you seeing another O behind my back? Or are you getting tired of me already?" Hunter gave me his answer with actions. He kissed me so thoroughly I could barely breathe. I couldn't put it off any longer. Hunter was already starting to suspect something. So under cover of darkness, I ran away again. Not only did I take all the cash from the house, I also swiped a few pieces of Hunter's sleepwear. They still carried the pheromones that the baby seemed to crave. I didn't have much cash, and using a credit card would give away my location. So I found the cheapest motel I could. The room reeked of mildew, like it hadn't been aired out in years, and there were stains on the bedding of unknown origin. I nearly turned around and went back home. But then I remembered Hunter's icy, "Get rid of it," and I forced myself to accept this sorry excuse of a room. Hugging one of Hunter's shirts, I lay down on the bed. The baby was clearly addicted to Hunter's pheromones. The scent on the shirt faded more each day, until eventually, it disappeared completely. That's when the baby started fussing, and once the baby got upset, my whole body felt out of sorts. There was no way to ease the discomfort. Frustrated, I gently rubbed my belly and tried reasoning with the little one. "Hey, baby, can we chill on the pheromones for a while? If we keep this up, neither of us is gonna make it out alive." I couldn't exactly go back and steal more clothes. That'd be beyond weird. Tossing and turning all night, I couldn't sleep at all. I counted on my fingers. It had already been 5 days. Why hadn't Hunter come after me? I'd run away a few times before because I couldn't handle how often he needed me. And every time, Hunter dragged me back the same day. Could it be Hunter had finally gotten tired of me, so he didn't see the need to chase me anymore? The thought pierced me right in the chest, and just like that, I made up my mind to sneak back for more of his clothes. If he really didn't care anymore, then going back while he wasn't home wouldn't be a problem. 5. Hunter usually wasn't home during the day, and when I was gone, Cameron was typically shut off. I walked right up to the door and scanned my fingerprint like I still lived there. In the corner, Cameron sat lifeless with its power cord pulled, staring blankly. I poked it lightly. It didn't move. Relieved, I smiled and pulled out a sack. But once I got to the walk-in closet, I hit a wall. Every piece of clothing I laid eyes on, I could picture exactly how Hunter looked wearing it. I ended up wanting to take everything. By the end, half the closet was empty, and the sack was stuffed full. So full, I couldn't even lift it. Then I heard the front door open downstairs. I remembered, the cleaning service usually comes during the day. I casually shouted, "Hey, bro, give me a hand here. Gonna toss these old clothes out." No response. I called out again. This time, someone finally started walking toward me, and with them came a familiar, suffocating pressure. My scalp went numb. My heart started racing. No way, I couldn't be that unlucky. I turned my head slowly, and locked eyes with Hunter's amused, narrowed gaze. Game over. It really was him. I wanted nothing more than to crawl under the floor. Hunter glanced at the sack, then at the half-empty closet, and asked, "When did I ever say I wanted to throw those clothes out?" I braced myself. They looked kind of old, so I figured I'd help clean out a few. I tugged at the hem of my shirt to cover my stomach and slowly edged away. "So you really can't go without my pheromones, huh?" I hesitated, then nodded. Hunter pinned me down with one hand, smirking. "Connor, for someone with so little backbone, you sure have the guts to run from me." I pouted, feeling both wronged and frustrated. What else could I do? If the baby didn't need his pheromones, and if its dad hadn't wanted to get rid of him, I never would have ended up sneaking back just to steal clothes. 6. Hunter roughly pushed me into the bathroom. He followed in after me, looking like he'd been holding back for too long. I stumbled and nearly faceplanted into the bathtub. "Gross," Hunter muttered, pulling me upright and scolding me. "Connor, are you stupid? You leave the villa to live in some dump, and you took all the money from the house. Why not stay somewhere nicer?" My eyes welled up. I sniffled. He was the cause of all this. How dare he complain about me smelling bad? He wiped my tear-streaked cheek with his finger and grumbled, crying after just a little scolding, "Such a baby." I wasn't crying because I was soft. My pregnancy hormones were all over the place. I dodged his hands when he tried to undress me. The baby couldn't be found out. "Hunter, go away. I'll wash myself." Hunter sneered, "Where haven't I seen you naked?" The clothes in his hands felt as fragile as paper. Cold skin sent a shiver through me. I covered my belly nervously and crouched down fast. "What's wrong with your stomach?" Hunter lifted me up from the floor. "Connor, move your hands." "No." I backed away, trying to cover myself with the torn clothes on the floor. Hunter narrowed his eyes, a flicker of sharpness flashing inside. "Connor, don't make me say it twice." Under the pressure of his pheromones, I shakily lowered my hands and looked down at my belly, reluctant. "Baby, your dad knows you're here now. I don't know if I can protect you anymore. Maybe even I won't make it out alive." I forced a bitter smile and slowly looked up. Hunter's expression froze. After a moment, he snapped back, his voice uneven. "How long? Connor, did you run away because of this?" He placed his hand on my belly. The warmth made me instinctively arch my back and lean into him. The pheromones were intoxicating the baby. For a second, that cold, "Get rid of it," echoed in my ears again. I snapped out of it and stepped back, warily watching him. Hunter frowned, then yanked me back into his arms with force. His hand pressed down again. "I remember the scans before. You don't have a womb. So how are you pregnant now?" "Who knows? I wish I knew why I'm pregnant too. At the root of this, I'm not the one to blame, he is." After staring at me in my belly for a long moment, Hunter said nothing else and pulled me out the door. He was in a hurry. I almost tripped trying to keep up. He just grabbed me and stuffed me into the car. "Hunter, where are you taking me?" "To the hospital." His calm words hit me like a bomb. I panicked, heart pounding, hands shaking. Why was he so impulsive, giving me no time to react? "Let me go. I'm not going to the hospital." I shielded my belly and struggled to get out, but he held me tight in his arms. In desperation, I blurted out, "I'll confess, he's not your kid. You have no right to get rid of him." His grip suddenly tightened. Hunter's face darkened, his tone grim. "Connor, I don't care whose kid is in your belly. You're coming with me to that hospital. No exceptions." 7. Because I refused to cooperate, Hunter used his pheromones to force me through the whole checkup. They didn't even show me the results before the nurse took me to a ward. Besides Cameron, Hunter and the doctor weren't there. I knew what that meant. They were probably plotting how to get rid of the baby behind my back. Waiting for Hunter to return to the ward, my heart was a mess. I prayed he'd have mercy on me and the baby. I wanted to sneak out quietly, but Cameron watched me like a hawk. Every time I moved, it moved. I had no choice but to lie facing away from it and the door. I wished the door would break and lock from the outside. That way, no one could come in or harm me and the baby. Even though I didn't want to face it, Hunter eventually came back. He held a few sheets of A4 paper, which I snatched immediately. "What's this?" I nervously flipped it open. Surprisingly, it wasn't a surgical consent form. It was the examination report for me and the baby. The results showed we were both healthy. If we were healthy, maybe Hunter would choose to keep the baby. I bit my lip and looked up. Hunter's face was unreadable, no emotion. Even his pheromones were completely restrained. I wanted to smell some comforting scent, but there was none. Based on everything before, I took a deep breath and said, "Thank you for the checkup, but like I said, he's not yours. Can you let us go?" "No." Hunter snatched the report from my hand. A faint pheromone trail wafted off him. My legs felt weak. He squeezed the back of my neck gently. "Connor, don't even think about leaving. If you leave, this baby in your belly won't survive either." 8. Hunter was the one who said to get rid of the baby at first, and now he was the one threatening me to keep it. Why should I listen to him? Hunter glanced at me. "Who pulled you out of the black market?" I was speechless for a moment. Right, I'd been harassed by alphas in the black market. Once, I was almost assaulted. Hunter saved me and brought me here. He gave me a home in this world. I was upset and confused, so we entered a cold war for a while. Hunter took me home. He had some urgent business and had to go out. I breathed a sigh of relief. No need to face him for now. Before I could relax, he suddenly pulled me into his arms again. His hand rested on my belly. "What are you doing?" "We were in a fight." Hugging was not part of it. He didn't answer and instead asked, "Wasn't it stealing my clothes and smelling my pheromones before? Don't want them anymore?" I grumbled a quiet "oh" and didn't resist. Unlike my awkwardness, the baby was quite lively. It wasn't on my side. I pushed Hunter irritably. "Enough." He released me as asked. Before leaving, he said nicely, "Stay home and don't run off. Someone will be here to take care of you. If you need anything, ask Cameron. I'll be back in a couple of days." I nodded absent-mindedly. already planning how to run away again while I had the chance. 9. I took a dull nap and woke up in the early evening. Stepping out, I found someone unfamiliar standing in the hallway. He smiled at me. "Can we talk? My name's Landon. I'm Hunter's childhood friend and fiancé." I froze instantly, my mind going blank, didn't know how to react. Fiancé. Hunter never told me he had a fiancé. If I'd known, I wouldn't have signed that so-called human suppressant contract with him. Now it was too late. His fiancé knew about me, his contract lover. Landon sized me up, then his eyes landed on my belly, uncomfortable. I tugged at my shirt. He smiled and went on. "Pregnancy must be tough. Is the baby being naughty? I once had a car accident and hurt my womb, can't get pregnant anymore. What does that have to do with me? Isn't that something between him and Hunter?" I ignored him and headed downstairs to the kitchen for food. No matter how mad I was at Hunter, I couldn't starve myself or the baby. But Landon stuck to me like chewing gum. "Hunter's about to take over the family business, so he'll be busy. The old man says he has to have a kid to inherit. His relatives are blocking him. Power struggles everywhere. Luckily, there's you." He paused and sighed. This baby really came at the right time. I touched my belly and ignored him, turned to check the fridge for something to eat. Landon came closer. "Tell me what you want. I'll cook it." Before I could refuse, he pushed me out of the kitchen. Soon the smell of food drifted in, filling my nose. I remembered Hunter said someone would come take care of me. Turns out, he sent his fiancée to look after me, the contract lover. 10. Night deepened. Hunter called me on video. Our Cold War wasn't over yet. Now, with a fiancé in the picture, things were even more tense. I flipped the device face down on the bed, showing only darkness. No need to see his face. Hunter didn't mind, laughing. "Afraid to let me see you, still clutching my clothes while you sleep?" His sniffing paused. I glanced down at the crumpled shirt I was holding. How did he know? I took a deep breath and threw the shirt on the floor. "Out of sight." Annoyed, I said, "Who cares about your stinky old shirt?" I put a bottle of my pheromone extract on Cameron. "If you feel bad, just call Cameron." I flatly refused. "No thanks, it smells gross to me." "Oh, then who ran away and came back stealing my clothes before, bringing up old wounds?" Hunter muttered. "If you still don't feel well, undo the clothes. I'll teach you." My face heated up, and I told him to be shameless. Then Landon's voice came from outside. "Connor, are you hungry? I made some late-night food. Want to come eat?" I pretended not to hear, cut off Hunter's video and closed my eyes, trying to fall asleep. After too much daytime sleep, I couldn't sleep now. My mind raced with all sorts of thoughts. Landon was strange. He said he was Hunter's fiancé, but treated me better than I expected. Without Hunter's familiar scent and warmth, I tossed and turned, wide awake. The baby started fussing too. 5 minutes later, I gave up fighting myself. I sat up and looked at the shirt on the floor. Hunter's scent still clung to it. Sniffing it, I secretly scolded both myself and the baby. Why did we have to rely so much on Hunter and his pheromones? So pathetic. The scent triggered a realization. Why did Landon treat me so differently from a fiancé? Right when he arrived, he told me he couldn't have kids. He said Hunter desperately needed a child. Hunter and Landon saw me as just a baby-making tool, and the child would belong to them. That's why Landon so generously came to take care of me, the pregnant contract lover. Okay then, having figured that out, I was even more unable to sleep. 11. The next day, I stared at my dark circles and took the initiative to find Landon. Let me be honest with you. This baby isn't Hunter's. Even if you take him, it won't help. Landon stared at me, speechless. Connor, what are you talking about? Ignoring his shock, I kept going. Hunter and I only have a contract relationship. He's keeping me locked up because he's mad I hid another man's baby from him, not because of feelings. This child isn't his blood. Even if you two take him, Hunter won't be able to inherit. Landon opened his mouth, but I cut him off. I know you're upset, but trust me, I'm with Hunter only for money. I don't love him and won't cling to him while he's gone. Just let me go. After a long silence, Landon neither nodded nor replied. His eyes kept darting behind me, his expression stiffening. I followed his gaze and met Hunter's dark, stormy face. My heart dropped. I swallowed hard, knowing this was bad. Wasn't Hunter supposed to be gone for days? Why was he suddenly back? And unlucky enough to hear all this, Landon hurriedly said, "You tell him yourself," and then fled, leaving Hunter and me staring at each other in silence. 12. A flicker of bitterness and aggression flashed in Hunter's eyes, his face calm, his voice smooth but coaxing. "Connor, say those things you just said to me again." I pretended not to understand. What things? Hunter stepped closer, one step at a time. His intense pheromones told me the right move was to run back to my room and lock the door, but my legs felt like they were filled with lead. I couldn't move an inch. You don't like me, so you wouldn't cling to me. You're only with me for money. The pheromones burned my throat, my breath caught in my chest. I instinctively took 2 steps back. Hunter closed the distance and grabbed my arm, yanking hard. I stumbled and fell right into his arms. In that instant, it was like a fly trapped in a spider's web, no escape. His grip was too strong, my wrist stung red. I gave a bitter smile, looking up at him. Hunter, isn't what I said the truth? Our relationship started with that human suppressant contract. The only lie I told was, I don't like him. Falling for him was my fault, but I couldn't help it. Blame it on Hunter for being too good to me. The contract's still in the safe in the study. If you forgot, you can go check it. This baby was an accident. It has nothing to do with you. Before I could finish, Hunter cut me off coldly. Enough. Stop talking. Connor, is that really how you see me? I didn't want to think that way, but he was acting like it. I lowered my head. Silent. Hunter's face darkened as he carried me to the room. Without giving me a chance to react, he pinned my legs with his knees and leaned down to kiss me fiercely. His kisses were urgent, wild, biting and rough. Pheromones swirled everywhere, making me weak all over. I tried to fight back but he held me tighter, desperate to survive. I gave up struggling and let him kiss me. Only when I was about to suffocate from the intensity did Hunter finally pull away. But he wasn't done. His kisses traced from my lips down to my jaw, then slowly to my neck. Breathing hard, I stared at the blurry ceiling. At the last moment, I struggled free from Hunter's hold. No, stop. I hid my face in the blanket. Hunter calmed down slightly and instead grabbed my hand, pulling it down. I tried to pull away but couldn't and resignedly looked away. Hunter bit my neck through clenched teeth. If you weren't pregnant, I'd... He whispered 2 words in my ear that made me shiver all over and my lower back go weak. 13. For days, I barely dared to cross Hunter's path. Only at night could I not avoid him. Hunter always liked using me as a pillow, only then could he sleep well. One night, Cameron's alarm beeped and woke me. Beep beep, detecting abnormal temperature and pheromones in the master. Suspected onset of heat. Sleepy, I reached out beside me. Hunter was a burning hot furnace, instantly waking me up. The pheromones were so thick I could barely breathe. Even the baby wasn't happy, fussing angrily. Hunter, wake up. I nudged the person beside me. He didn't open his eyes but stretched long arms to pull me in. Instinctively, he bit my neck. I winced in pain and struggled with all my might to break free. Panting, I grabbed 2 random shirts for Hunter to hold, watching Cameron freeze and do nothing. I got frustrated. Cameron, go get his suppressant now. After a moment, the dumb robot replied. Detected inappropriate scene. Automatically entering sleep mode. What? One of us is lying unconscious in bed, and the other's stuck standing around helpless. What inappropriate scene? I'd better dismantle this robot soon. With no help from Cameron, I had to go downstairs and get Hunter's suppressant myself. 14. I entered, but the bed was empty except for messy blankets. The next second, I was yanked backward into a burning hot embrace. Hunter's possessive pheromones surrounded me. He sniffed me and grumbled. Wife, where did you run off to just now? His touch sent tingles all over me. I snapped. I'm not your wife. Don't call me that. Holding the cold suppressant in my hand kept me sane, so I wouldn't get overwhelmed by him. Take this suppressant yourself. I handed him a dose. He took it obediently, then quickly tossed it aside. The sharp sound of it breaking echoed in the dim room and made my heart skip. I cursed silently and quickly put away the last dose. Hunter clung to me, grumbling. Wife, why don't you hug me? Wife, I want. I sighed helplessly. What's meant to happen can't be avoided. I really owe him. The baby in my belly has his attention. That's one thing. Now, pregnant as I am, I have to help him through heat season. Last time when Hunter was sober, he was considerate enough to stop. Now, burning with fever, he held me and carried me to bed without care. Our breaths mingled as Hunter kissed me deeply. The air felt thin from the heat and pheromones. I bit his shoulder lightly and whispered, "Be gentle, don't hurt the baby." Hunter hesitated, clearly surprised. I took his hand and placed it on my swollen belly. The world spun, and suddenly I was sitting astride him, looking down. Hunter's eyes shone bright with hope. "Is this okay?" Minutes later, I grumbled, wanting to get down. "My back hurts. I'm done." Hunter looked like the sky had fallen. He lay down beside me, his hot body pressed against my back. Never had time felt so long. Outside, dawn was breaking. I curled up under the covers, aching all over. I silently swore never to trust a heat cycle alpha again. I was tired and sleepy, and my legs were commandeered. Later, Hunter sobered up a bit. He laid his hand gently on my belly and released calming pheromones. "Is your belly hurting?" "Sorry, I lost control just now." "No." I was too exhausted to open my eyes. I pushed his hand away weakly, complaining hoarsely, "Stop messing with me." Hunter lay down beside me, holding me close and kissing me. Half asleep, I heard someone whisper softly, "Wife, wait a little longer, don't leave me." 15. The next afternoon, Hunter was nowhere to be seen. Cameron came out of sleep mode and stayed by my side. Had Hunter's heat phase really ended so quickly? I sniffed the air. His scent was still strong and unmistakable. "Where's Hunter?" "He's in the guest bedroom." I got out of bed to check on him. Before I even got close, I caught a strange new scent. Unlike alpha pheromones, this one was gentle and mild. Before I could react, Landon came out of the guest room. He paused for a second when he saw me, then said softly, "Why don't you rest more?" Hunter just took his suppressant and is already asleep. He was holding an empty syringe. For several days, Hunter had been trapped in a high fever heat phase. The sudden heat had thrown the villa into chaos. But with Landon around, that chaos no longer involved me. If not now, then when? There was no better chance than this. 16. Before I left, I actually dismantled Cameron. I took the little bottle of clear liquid off it, Hunter's pheromone extract. With this extract, even when I wasn't near Hunter, I could ensure the baby's safe birth. Half a month later, I ended up in a small fishing village. The people were simple and the pace of life slow. I rented a house here with a small yard. I ate breakfast while scrolling through my communicator. The morning news flashed familiar faces and names. Landon kidnapped, narrowly escaped having his glands removed. The shocking headline made me click in a hurry. Seeing that Hunter had saved him gave me a sense of relief, somewhat expected. Though kidnapping was terrible, maybe this ordeal would bring them closer, just as long as they didn't set their sights on me and my baby again. The baby inside me grew bigger every day. Every night after spraying the pheromone extract on myself, the baby would excitedly interact with me. Soon, it was time for my prenatal checkup at the town hospital. The neighbor was a big, burly alpha but surprisingly gentle. Since I moved in, he had looked after me a lot. Hearing I was going to the hospital today, he insisted on driving me there. After dropping me off, he left. I finished the checkup alone. Learning the baby was healthy, my anxious heart relaxed. It seemed the pheromone extract could substitute for an alpha's presence. With it, I didn't need an alpha by my side at all. 17. Not long after, news of Hunter officially taking over flooded everywhere. I didn't go out of my way to search for it. All the apps pushed the news to me daily. What did a rich heir's inheritance have to do with a small-town nobody like me? I furiously tapped "Not interested" and closed the apps. On the way home, I stopped at the fruit store. For some reason, my right eyelid twitched twice. A few steps later, my bag suddenly ripped. Oranges and mangosteens spilled onto the ground. I bent down to pick them up but my belly was too big to reach properly. Just as I was fumbling, a shiny pair of leather shoes appeared before me. Looking up, it was Hunter, just the one I'd seen on the news earlier, standing right there. I froze on the spot. Hunter bent down, picking up the fruit and pulling a bag from somewhere to put them in. Seeing he had no intention of giving the bag back, I tried to snatch it, give it back. In the past, I would have just handed it over, but now I had a baby to care for. He was rich and was already eyeing my baby. If he wanted food, he could buy it himself. Hunter was deliberately making things difficult. He held the bag high out of my reach. I stood on tiptoe but couldn't get it. "I'll carry it for you." "Where do you live?" "I'll take you home." I grunted roughly. "I'm giving you a ride. Don't be so polite." I glared at him and left without looking back. 18. Back home, Squid was drying perfectly in the sunlight in the yard. The neighbor was outside his place as well. He was the one who taught me how to dry squid. He was about to greet me but suddenly went silent. I turned around and saw Hunter trailing behind me, carrying the fruit like a shadow. Ignoring the neighbor, I quickly went inside and shut the door. Hunter immediately stuck his hand inside to block it. His hand got squeezed by the door but he didn't even grunt. I thought to crush him right there. Hunter slipped in, quickly pinning me in his arms. His large hand slid under my shirt and cupped my belly without hesitation. "It's gotten so big. How have you been? Has he been giving you trouble?" He was still eyeing my baby. That realization made me struggle hard. "Get away. I told you the baby has nothing to do with you. Whether he gives me trouble is none of your business. And what are you touching me for? Watch out or I'll report you for sexual harassment." Hunter chuckled softly, hugged me tighter, and covered my mouth. Our lips tangled for a long while. He reluctantly pulled away, nuzzling my neck to sniff. Alpha pheromones hit me head-on, impossible to ignore. My swollen belly pressed against his abs, moving with his breath, making me uncomfortable. I shifted uneasily, feeling nervous. "Don't move. Let me hold you for a bit." Sensing the familiar scent, my body relaxed involuntarily. After a while, Hunter said abruptly, "Connor, it's all over now. Sorry for making you suffer." 19. Being held in one position for too long, my body started to stiffen. I hadn't been with Hunter much lately, but the baby was happy. I wasn't. I pushed Hunter irritably. Had enough of hugging? If not, go home and hug your fiancé. Hunter paused, looking up at me. The fiancé is in my arms right now. Where you are, I'll hold you. His focused gaze made my cheeks flush and heart race. Landon is your fiancé. Hug him then. Hunter, let go of me. I struggled to break free from his arms that wrapped around me like ropes. Hunter frowned. Did Landon tell you that? Was there someone else telling me things? I gave him a what else look. Hunter didn't move. He lifted me and sat down on the sofa, making me sit on his lap. I couldn't escape. Landon isn't my fiancé. He's my childhood friend. A doctor. That's why I asked him to help take care of you. I frowned, doubting his explanation. But thinking back, Landon hadn't shown any hostility toward me, only concern. Like Cameron, he had kept a close eye on me in the villa, wanting to stay by my side 24/7. Hunter brushed my bangs aside gently and explained softly. Someone tried to threaten me by going after my weakness. You were pregnant then. If they knew, what if they hurt you? Landon said he could help by pretending to be my fiancé. I thought he told you in advance. After hearing this, I remembered the morning news from a few days ago. So Landon was kidnapped because of you. Hunter nodded. So that was why. I was glad I had run away from the villa back then. If I had stayed, maybe I would have been kidnapped too. After all, between a pregnant husband and a fiancé, it seemed the pregnant husband was a more effective threat. Now that Hunter came here to find me, weren't the baby and I unsafe? I glared at Hunter with resentment, silently telling him to get lost. Hunter squeezed my hand and said, "Don't worry, it's all been taken care of. Nothing like that will happen again." I muttered, "Oh," staring blankly at our intertwined fingers. "Sorry, I should have explained sooner." I whispered, "It's not too late now." Hunter smiled and kissed the back of my hand. It felt like his lips had burned me. I shivered and didn't try to break free anymore. Hunter cupped my face, forcing me to meet his eyes. "Connor, the danger is gone. Can you come home with me?" I curled my fingers nervously, hesitated, then finally nodded. "All right." 20. Before leaving, I wanted to say goodbye to the neighbor. Hunter came along with me. To my surprise, when they met, the neighbor seemed even more familiar with Hunter than with me. "Aren't you going to stay a few more days, taking him away so soon?" Hunter nodded. "Yeah, the local living conditions and medical facilities aren't quite up to par." My eyes flickered back and forth between the two of them. The neighbor chuckled and explained. "I owe him a favor. This time, he asked me to look after you all the way." No wonder, the neighbor had been looking out for me every day lately. He often brought me meals, saying it was hard to cook for one, so he made extra for me. Every time I went out, I'd run into him. He'd always ask where I was going, then say he was on the way and offer me a ride. I had once foolishly wondered if he liked me. Turns out, it was because of Hunter. I pinched Hunter's arm lightly. "No choice," he explained. "Since you kept wanting to leave, I had to let you go once. But to guarantee your safety, this was the only option." Well, things had already happened, and I had no choice but to accept. 21. Months later, Hunter and I agreed to have a cesarean section. Landon performed the surgery. A loud, clear cry echoed through the operating room. Soon after, Landon held our baby up to me. Look, a strong little alpha baby. My brain was still foggy, and all I saw were the baby's red, chubby legs. I blankly asked, "Did you secretly do something to him? Why does he look like he's been cooked?" Landon laughed so hard he nearly lost his grip. "How can you say that about our baby? Don't worry, he'll turn lighter in time." As we left the operating room, Hunter and Cameron rushed over. Hunter stumbled over his words. "Wife, are you in pain? Is it hard? Want pheromones?" It was the first time I'd seen him so unsettled. I clicked my tongue and frowned. "Oh, Hunter, you're so noisy." Hunter sheepishly went quiet. Seeing that, Cameron didn't dare make a sound either. It usually showed no emotional changes, but on its screen, celebrations and tears flashed repeatedly, looking like it was about to break down. Once I'd gathered some energy, I sent Hunter to get a dictionary. "The baby's here, but we haven't named him yet." Hunter flipped through the dictionary with me. You decide. He'll take your surname." "Of course he will. I gave birth to him, so he's got to have my name. Besides, you already have Cameron with your name." "Master, I'm here." Cameron heard its name and immediately jumped over, trying to push Hunter aside. I flipped casually and pointed at a name. Done. The baby's name was settled. "Kevin." "Hunter, bring Kevin over so I can see him." In Landon's arms, Kevin looked pretty big, but in Hunter's, he became a tiny bundle, like a little doll. His big eyes spun around, curiously observing us. So cute I wanted to nibble his chubby cheeks. Calling Cameron over, I asked it to take a photo of the three of us together, though I had unexpectedly ended up here, in an unfamiliar place. Now, I was no longer alone. I had a little family of my own.